Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So for those of you who have been following the channel, you guys are Gotham Knights fans, and today actually we're going to take a segue and look at a few things that seem to be progressing here very little. So there was another NVIDIA leak on games. I don't know if you've been following, but lately people have been finding themselves with all these so-called NVIDIA leaks, and what's really interesting about them is we're seeing all of these different games that are coming to PC. Now, what's actually really interesting about these so-called leaks coming on PC is a lot of the PlayStation, in quote, exclusives seem to be finding a way to make it into these, leaks. Now, it's no longer a secret that PlayStation is trying to come to the PC market. In fact, they brought out their, PlayStation PC brand, and also God of War, the 2018 game, is going to be coming in January of 2022. We already saw Horizon Zero Dawn and all the others. Now, a lot of these leaks are talking about Horizon Forbidden West, talking about games like Ghost of Tsushima and all of this stuff. And to me, I just want to go ahead and say, why don't y'all just go ahead and bring Spider-Man to PC already? There's no shame in your game, Sony apparently, because, Sony had promised a lot of its own audience members this, real huge exclusivity. But it appears that with the, huge lack of consoles, business models are about to shift real heavily into what they call the only need for businesses to exist, which is to make a profit. Now, I don't know how people feel about this in terms of, their product that they've purchased and all of the above, but I think this is not necessarily surprising. Death Stranding was one of the first games that was touted as an Xbox exclusive to make its way to, the PC platform. And this was on Steam, and everybody should have seen this coming as a trend. Now, yes, Spider-Man may be the one game they hold very close to their chest and probably are waiting for a strategy when the next Spider-Man game is fully released before they even think or talk about a PC release or a launch on PC. But I don't think it's out of the question. In fact, I think this is the ultimate rally for Sony to remain as competitive as possible. For the longest time, I think Sony understood where they were, but they decided that they were going to try to play this game of, we can still be selling these hardware. And then it seemed like Microsoft understood that if we can just bypass the need for the hardware market, we can eventually take Sony on. And they started to deal with that. Cloud gaming, Game Pass, all of these different huge benefits for being on the Xbox ecosystem, in my opinion, I think started to, in a sense, scare Sony. Let's not say scare them, but I think it started to get their attention. And eventually now what you're seeing is these games are trying to make their way to the PC platform. Now, like I said, how the PlayStation audience feels about this, I really don't know. These leaks are just, leaks that I don't know if they're necessarily 100% true. But, the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection to me sounds even much more likely because they're going to be working on a game in that, in that right. And I think bringing that game in conjunction with the movie might be something that really does go, in hand with it. So it might be something worth thinking about in that sense. The ones that are a little challenging to actually wrap my mind around will be Horizon Forbidden West coming out that early, because it's literally going to be coming out in February of 2022, and for it to be jumping straight to PC in the same year might be really hard for some people who've gone ahead to buy a PlayStation 5 to swallow. Now, I have a PlayStation 5, I have a PC as well. Fortunately, I was, doing PC gaming as well with my PS4, so I'm able to tap into those ecosystems, and fortunately, I was able to get my hands on an Xbox because of content creation. So me, I'm really neutral to all of this, but I'd already seen Microsoft's strategy before they released their consoles, and I said it's going to be something that Sony is going to have to compete. And a lot of people told me I was crazy. They said Sony was going to be better and all that stuff, and I said, okay, we'll wait and see. And now I'm going to link that video here so that we can see how Microsoft basically played Sony and have, in a sense, come in really strong to win this game. But hey, like I said, it's business, and these companies are going to continue to fight and go for this strategy. Now, here's the thing. If people are wondering if Microsoft is going to have any exclusives, the idea is not really. I don't think Microsoft is in the business of wanting to shell out these millions of dollars for exclusives, because it doesn't really benefit anybody. If anything, if a Microsoft studio makes a game, it benefits Microsoft that game is available on both PlayStation and Game Pass. And so you know what that does, right? It makes people think, man, why am I going to be paying for this really cool game on PlayStation when I could just go get an Xbox and get Game Pass, and that will attract more people to get the Microsoft, ecosystem, to give it a thought, at least a second thought, or go buy themselves an Xbox, because some of these games are pretty cool. Plus, it nets Microsoft a lot of money. They can put their games on the console that has historically sold a lot more because of all kinds of things. And while they're doing all of these initiatives, eventually they're going to close the gap. Right now, they've looked at the numbers of sales between Xboxes and PlayStation, and it appears that Microsoft's Xbox is not too far behind. It is not, in a place where I would say everyone is, expecting that Microsoft's Xbox is going to beat the PlayStation sales in terms of hardware and consoles. But at least with this generation, it's not been too far to be able to see that, Microsoft is actually closing the gap without really trying. They already made a solid hardware. The Xbox Series X is a very solid hardware. And then they made a version of it for people who may not necessarily want to shell out the full price, for the Series X, which was a very smart strategy. And they priced it very well where you would know that there's a difference between both consoles, when you buy them. That way you understand that, okay, I'm spending less money, but it's a conscious decision that I want to spend less money to buy this Series S version of my new Xbox, game. And so I strongly think that Sony's winning strategy right now hinges on them continuing to follow through with these releases and then making the huge dive with Spider-Man and bringing it to the PC platform. I'm one of the only people that's been saying this on the internet. And yes, maybe some other people have been chattering about it here and there, but man, I think a lot of people doubt more than anything as to this being a possibility, but I don't doubt it. If it's going to net them some money, I think it's going to be a good idea. And there are many reasons that this is a possibility. I'll be discussing these in other videos. I do not want to let this video get too long, and we'll share my thoughts. That video will be in the link. Please check it out if you really want to see what I've always thought about the new console generation and its onset. And I made a lot of these predictions even before we started to see the consoles, basically propagate around. So if you enjoyed the content, let me know in the comment section what it is you enjoyed about it. Or if you think I could improve, you could leave a dislike. Talk to you guys in another video. I appreciate you guys so much. Peace out.